All right. Hello, mamas. Welcome to our loving moms raising healthy kids event. My name is Brittany Ame. I live in Southern California. I'm a wife and very active mom of two little ones. And I will be one of your hosts for this evening. Um, we know that you likely have 5 million other things that you could be doing right now, but you decided to take some time for you to listen in and hopefully be motivated and inspired. So props to you, because we know how hard it is to make time for ourselves. The goal of this event is that you leave feeling connected to a strong community of moms who really care about their health and the health of their families. None of us are perfect, and you'll probably see a little bit of that as you listen to our panelists. But the cool thing is, when we come together with a common goal of raising healthy families, we can literally spark change and make a huge impact in future generations' health. And I don't know about you, but that excites the heck out of me. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to my co-host, Andreza Owens, so that she can introduce our beautiful panelists.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Andreza, and I just want to echo what Brittany said. We really appreciate you guys being here tonight and joining us. We hope that you're inspired by these women and that maybe you connect to some of them. I'm a wife and a mom of two. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I'm in East Texas. I'm really passionate about health and wellness and promoting practical tools that empower parents to make healthy choices for their families. And then we also really love traveling. So that's me and the panelists. So we have Courtney, who's a former athlete. She's a mama to 2 active boys, and she is an adapted physical educator. Damarise is from Southern California. She is a wife and mom to 3. She has suffered with infertility, miscarriages, prolactinoma, which is a non-cancerous brain tumor, chronic migraines, IBS, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and anemia. She has overcome many of these illnesses through the power of nutrition and is here to inspire those around her. Jennifer is a wife and mom to 2 beautiful children. She's a stay-at-home mom, but is rarely at home. She does personal training, helps with local small businesses, and even teaches Spanish at her daughter's elementary school. Thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight. So, Courtney, take it back just a little bit and talk about what nutrition looked like in your household growing up, and then give us examples of the type of foods you ate as a family when you were growing up.
Yep, perfect. So, excuse me, I was born and raised on a farm. We had cattle, rice, walnuts, and peaches. So that's kind of like, I took it for granted. I'm going to say that right now. I didn't know what I had. We always had beef that we knew exactly where it came from. Just a typical carbs would be rice or potatoes. We'd have a veggie. And I got to watch what I'm trying to teach my kids now at a very young age. And it became second nature. Like that was my norm. But then we can talk a little bit later. As I left the house, it was really just a mind shift of like, wow, I had so much at my fingertips growing up. And I want to be able to capture that now as a mama.
Thanks for sharing. What about you, Damarise?
So can you hear me? Okay. So I grew up, we were kind of poor, and we were a Cuban household. So we had a lot of rice growing up, with beans, sometimes eggs as our protein. And my mom would try to give us vegetables, but it was like usually canned vegetables. And then our fruits usually would be like mangoes and grapes. Like she tried to be healthy as good as she could do. I was very unhealthy, but yeah, typically, I mean, I had Pop-Tarts sometimes for breakfast, waffles. It wasn't a good thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm sure a lot of us can relate. What about you, Jen?
Hey, y'all. Well, I am from the South, and my mother grew up on a dairy farm. So kind of bled into our family. There was butter, bread, and milk. Okay, so those were not the best things. Unfortunately, I can't really tolerate a whole bunch of that. So my father, being a little bit more of a military brat, as he was, had a little bit more of an idea of a better rounded diet, and they were both very active in tennis. So it was kind of this odd blend of, okay, well, we want to still have the dairy farm stuff, but we're going to have a little bit of vegetables here and there. It's kind of just sprinkles of healthiness. I didn't really find my jive until college. So growing up, it was pretty much I ate what my parents made me. I'd never really thought to question them. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but trying to respect my parents, but having this like feeling of, okay, this isn't really working for me, but mom made it, don't want to hurt her feelings. So, just kind of eat some, brush it under the table, we'll do that kind of method. But, yeah, it's been really awesome. It's very empowering learning nutrition for yourself, and aside from what necessarily works for your family, because that doesn't always work for you. So it's been really great with my family, learning what works for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Courtney, can you talk to us a little bit about what your idea of being healthy was in your 20s, or just kind of like in your young life? What was your idea of being healthy, and how has that shifted and changed for you now?
Yeah. So I had the access to an entire cafeteria from 18 to 22, and that was amazing, but also it brought to light a lot of issues that I had growing up with my digestive system. So like I said before, I was raised on a family that had a farm, but I did not eat waffles every single day, and these things that got introduced to my life that are so delicious, right? So my freshman year, I really had to revamp and go back to how I ate as a child, just some sort of protein, rice, carbs, and a veggie. I learned really early on if I veered off that, there was going to be consequences for those actions. So that's kind of what guided me, is just my body reacting to foods that were not going to support either my athletics or just literally my everyday to be able to function properly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can totally relate as a former athlete, like what you mean about that. It's very important. Dawn Maurice, how about you? How is it for you in your 20s? What has changed for you with that word health, like what that means now?
So in my early 20s, I was in beauty school, in college, and I thought healthy was skinny. And so I just tried to be skinny, and I ate whatever I wanted. And sometimes I would have a salad. Maybe I'd get like low fat, which now we know that doesn't really mean much. But I tried to be healthy, but not really, because I was skinny and I thought I was okay. But really, I was suffering so much. I had no idea the value of nutrition. My face, like I would break out, and I had a lot of inflammation going on. I didn't know it. And so now health has completely changed. I'm turning 41 in like less than a week. And, I just have a whole different view of health and nutrition, and how important it really is, and what a difference it makes when you feed your body the right stuff. So now I just crave a lot of healthy things, like more of a paleo diet. And I'm not eating fast food. Like I lived on fast food in my early 20s. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, 41, you're looking good, mama. You're looking good. Okay,
Thank
Jen,
you.
how about you? How about you,
So
Jen?
in my 20s, I actually am a nationally qualified bodybuilder. So I did bikini competitions. And so health in my 20s was super rigid, super strict, very minimal. It was your protein, carbs, fats, which were basically rice, broccoli, and, a handful of like avocado if you had to. So health for me wasn't really health. It was restriction and, limits and the next goal. So kind of gravitating out of my 20s, that's kind of when I really figured out, like, oh, that's not a healthy lifestyle. That's not a sustainable lifestyle. That really isn't health. That's just a goal. So I really didn't, I thought I was healthy, like she said, because I was skinny, because I was looking, physically my best. But I was suffering with so many other things on the inside I didn't realize took me a while to heal until here recently. So 20s were a lot different.
Yeah, wow. Thanks for sharing, y'all. So as moms, we often bypass on what we need and instead tend to everyone else before ourselves. How do you make time for you and your health, Courtney?
I would say for me, working out is a non-negotiable. It is where I release all my stresses, all my anxiety. So I do my best to get that in 4 to 5 times a week, because I know the benefits of it. And even if I don't want to, it's something I have to do. The other thing is, I know that when I eat right, literally, it's that simple for me. I am not a great person when I choose to eat poorly. I'm not a great mom. I'm not a great wife. I'm not a great coworker. And so those are all things that have just been able to motivate me. Like, I want to be the best that I possibly can be for them. And we're going to indulge on certain things, but I know now, and I've learned so much, like, where I get to cross the line, that's going to be fine. And where I just get to be like, oh, I found this other cool recipe that satisfies me in an amazing way. So just choosing to try and choose what's best for my body and what's best for ultimately everybody around me.
I love that. What about you, Damaris?
So now for me, the most important thing I do is start my day with the Lord. I am a Christian, so I'm a believer, and I need to spend time alone in quietness, kind of as tight as it can be with 3 wild boys. But I spend some time, I go outside the first thing in the morning, I look at the sun, and I try to read the Bible and just like be quiet and still. And that's something that's really important. I think mental health for me, that's really, really important. And then once I start the day with a plant protein shake that's super delicious and wonderful, and it just sets me off right for the entire day. Like, I have energy, and now because of what I take, my body is craving these healthier foods. And so I find myself not having to have anything with sugar, which I used to be addicted to sugar. But now I just get it from like plants, like fruits. My palate has completely changed, and when I feel good, I'm a better mom. And then that trickles down because they're watching me, and I try to work out too. And like, now they want to do that too. Like, they see McDonald's and they're like, oh no. So that like makes me so happy because I used to love McDonald's. So that's what I do. I have to take care of myself first in order to take care of them.
Yeah, I love that. You're getting to pour from a full cup and not an empty cup. I love that. What about you, Jennifer?
This is something that really is newer for me. For the longest time, I was more of like the, face down, making sure my kids are taken care of, husband's taken care of, all of these things were taken care of before I realized how depleted I was. I was trying to please so many different people, so many different avenues. I mean, I love being busy, but I was overworking myself. So I wasn't fully able to give everything I wanted to my children, to my job, to my husband. And this is a new boundary that the Lord really spoke to me, just like Damaris said. Every day, even still, every day I woke up and I would spend my quiet time, my gratitude time with the Lord. And it was just kind of one of those, what are you striving for? And I was like, I don't know. Am I not supposed to be such a giver? I'm a mom. That's what we're supposed to do. And so here recently, having grace for myself to say to my husband, like, I love you so much, but I need to take a 15-minute recap for myself. And for my workouts, I love my workouts. But they need to be more maybe 30 minutes instead of, so long or whatnot. So it's just that finding these new boundaries in this new season of life. My children are young and I still want to be with them, but I still have to remember I'm a woman. I am my own self, my own person who matters. Just like every other woman on this call matters. So if you can't get that in the root of your heart first, it's going to be really hard to sacrifice and give your time to whatever that needs to be. So for me, it's still a learning experience and I'm still getting there, but it's been game changing, just making sure I have time to rejuvenate myself. It could be something as small as a 10-minute bubble bath. Hey, that's great. So just something to give yourself a little bit of you, that you are connected, that you are recharged, that you are centered. It doesn't have to be big, but just enough to where you still feel connected to your person. So
yeah, that's so good, Jen. Oh my goodness. I love all of that. And I like that, the biggest part is I think it's a constant journey for all of us, to remember, come on, we got to take care of ourselves first. And I'm curious for everyone who's listening, throw it in the chats, or throw it in the chat. How do you take care of yourself? Because I mean, as I'm listening right now, I'm like, ooh, that's good. I like that. I'm going to take that. So if you have any other special ways that you take care of yourself, put it in the chat. I think this is what we want. We want community. We want to help each other and support one another. So, Courtney, talk to us. How were you introduced to this concept of plant powders, and why did it make sense for you and your family?
Okay, I'll give a real quick snapshot of it because I had just had my son Maverick, and he was 6 months at the time where I hit a breaking point. He had a lot of issues when he was first born, but then me as a mom, then I was having issues on top of it. And my son Colton, he was 4 at the time, and I'm like, we're gonna sink. Like, this ship is going down. And I've talked to you about the things that I know that I need to advocate for my own self in order to be at my best. I was nowhere near that. And I saw a post from Courtney Buns, who's on this call right now, and she said that, have you ever seen our family health study? And I was like, family health? Yes, I need to just figure out what this is about, because I want something that's research-based. I want something that puts their families first and then is willing to provide for our children. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. She sent me over the information, and I was like, my body needs this, my baby needs this. And I really feel like it gave us a fighting chance because we needed something to revive. And this was that something for us, for sure. And so that was, it'll be 3 years in August for us.
That's awesome. I love it. Damaris, are you good? I know we got these moms are like on the go right now. So I love how
I am so sorry. I'm at a graduation and it was like freezing.
And that's totally fine. All right, talk to us how you were introduced to these plant powders and what's the second part of that question? And why did it make sense for you and your family?
Okay. Yeah, so I had a high-risk pregnancy, and I was suffering. My prolactinoma, my brain tumor, was growing, and I couldn't take the medicine. So my doctor told me about studies being done around the world, how fruits and vegetables can heal your body. So he's like, it could possibly heal your tumor holistically. And so randomly, I think it was the Lord, I saw a video, and it was a stranger, and she was talking about Juice Plus. And she was a pharmacist. And she was pregnant and taking it for her baby. And so I was like, what? So I asked I talked to her. I asked my doctor about it, and he was like, just take it. And actually, it was the high-risk pregnancy doctor. She's like, throw away your prenatals and just take this. So I ordered it that day. That was almost 6 years ago. And it has completely changed my life. It just makes sense for my family because I am always on the go. I have a huge family. We're always busy. And so every day, I know my kids are getting 33 fruits, veggies, and berries, even if I don't have time to cook it, And so I love that. It makes so much sense. It's a no-brainer. It's my number one mom hack.
Mom hack of all mom hacks. I love it. Jen, how about you?
So, short story again. I've actually known about Juice Plus since I was in elementary school, because back where I grew up, this was in so many people's homes. My mom, I just never jumped on the bandwagon. But I remember going to friends' houses and seeing it was the Orchard Blend. It was the old packaging on their counters at the time. And, I didn't think anything of it. So fast forward to 7 months ago, my girlfriend Kendra posted it on her Instagram story. And I was like, hold the phone. I know that. I've seen that. The packaging is different, but I remember the name Juice Plus. So that day, I was like, hey, I just want to become a partner. I already know that it's good stuff. Our athletes in high school had to take it because athletes need twice the amount of fruits and veggies, so they were required to take it back where my high school was. So I said, I already know it's good stuff. And she said, oh, did you know we have omegas now? I was like, what? That is my best friend, y'all, because that is what healed my postpartum depression. My son is 3, and I was still struggling with postpartum depression issues. Praise the Lord, I am healed of brain fog, anxiety, depression, all the things now. Hallelujah. I will sell anybody on these omegas and the berry blend. Those are my favorite. So it makes sense for me for that reason. My children love the gummies. my husband eats the gummies. I'm like, you have the capsule, be a grown up. But nonetheless, my whole family is getting them. And I am so thankful. My kids are getting a healthy jump start in life. They don't have to go through the trench of nutrition that we went through. So it was just a no-brainer, and we love it. My daughter actually had a video on my phone of her doing a live for herself, and she's like talking about Juice Plus. I'm like, yeah, honey, work it. Go ahead and get it there. You know how good it is. Do it up.
I love that. Hey, Andres, I'm going to cut in front of you really quick. I meant to say this at the front of the call, at the beginning of the call, just so that everybody who's listening to the recording, just so you guys know, we're not making any product claims, to treat or cure any illness, but this is just the power of plants. This is what plants can do, and it's different for everybody's body. And so Jen's experience might not be yours, but it could be. And so I think that is just so awesome what it's done for you, and plants do so much for our bodies. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Thank you. That's amazing. I love that. I love both of just everything y'all just shared. Loved it. So Courtney, how has deciding to step up your health affected your family? What are some of the benefits that you've seen?
I'm just going to go down the list if that's okay real quick. So Maverick, long list of digestive issues. His body is regular. Everything is healed internally, which is amazing. And we still fight things today. If he gets a milkshake with GPA, then I combat it with extra veggie gummies and omegas, and then we get right back on track. We know how to fix something. Colton, really, he's my 7-year-old. I don't have to fight him on just trying any sort of fruit and vegetable. Like, he's open to the idea, and I thank those gummies for just giving him that baseline. Myself, I have a variety of things, but I would say my biggest thing that has helped with is just getting my own digestive system back in track, and then also promoting an open, like, I don't know how to say this, but I'm pregnant with baby number 3, and I really thank Juice Plus for it, because it took almost a year with the other two, and now it took 6 months. So I know my body's in the right place, and it's ready, and I will not be taking any other prenatals like I did before, only taking Juice Plus. And then my husband did Shred 10 for the first time in January. His acid reflux that had been like flaring up like a wazoo subsided. I need him to hear this so he remembers. No, just kidding. But that's us.
That's amazing. I love that. How about you, Damarie?
So, this is so hard to answer. And
It's so hard to answer that she's gone. She has left the call. Is she still there? There you go, Damarie.
Yeah, she's still there.
I'm so sorry. Is it still my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. So this is hard to answer because it has changed everything. I used to suffer with, IBS, migraine, and I'm just going to get away from all this crazy words. And because of this, I no longer have to take my medicine, which was really strong and super expensive. And I haven't had a migraine in years. I was able to get pregnant naturally, holistically, without medicine with my 3rd child, which was because I always needed medicine in order to get pregnant. So I wouldn't have Jude if I didn't have these plant powders. And I mean, it has completely drastically changed my life and my family's life. My son used to suffer with IBS, constipation, chronic constipation. He was always sick, and he doesn't have any of that. My kids rarely get sick when other kids are super sick, which is so sad. My kids are not that sick, and I feel better. I have more energy. This has helped my grandmother. Like, her kidneys were failing at 10%, and in 3 months, like, they went to 45% with these plant powders. My mom's cancer treatments, like, this has been one of the biggest blessings for me and my family. It's changed everything, and I'm forever thankful. So I'm so sorry. That was really crazy. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. That's really powerful. That's awesome. How about you, Jen?
So again, I can just kind of go down the quick little list. For me, it's healed a lot of my digestive issues. Like I said, growing up, didn't always eat the right things. So now I'm a lot more regular. I don't have as much bloating. I'm not craving sugar anymore. Like I could, of course, I still love my piece of chocolate, which women doesn't, but I don't feel the urge for that as frequently as I used to. I actually, my sleep is cured. My sleep apnea. I'm not waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning anymore. I'm sleeping through the night and a more REM sleep, which is amazing. Every mama needs sleep. My postpartum depression was healed. A lot of those issues, I didn't know it could take up to 10 years to replenish your DHA and some of these things from pregnancy. I mean, granted, I'm only 7 years in, but still we were getting to the deadline. So now we kind of jump started that process, and it feels significantly better having my whole head working together. For my family, my daughter is a very picky eater. If it didn't have bread or cheese, she wouldn't touch it. Now, after being on the gummies so frequently and consistently, I can put a plate of food in front of her and she eats it. I almost had to take her to the hospital because her hair wasn't growing. Her skin was so thin. And our goal is Rapunzel. So y'all pray Rapunzel hair comes in real fast. But we're getting there. Her hair was from pixie cut. Now it's past her shoulders, and she's only been on it for 7 months. So, I mean, I'm not going to cry, but it's amazing to see it in your children. That speaks volumes. The fact that it's whole food is incredibly reassuring for us. We're not giving them synthetics or any fillers. It's just food from the earth in an easy way to swallow. So I don't know a different easy button. I don't have one. And so this will forever be in our kitchen.
That's amazing. And I have to say, yeah, seeing all your stories, hearing your stories, and then seeing what it's done in our children, I think for all of us, it's what fuels us and what pushes us to share with those moms around us. But it's already been 30 minutes and it's kind of wild. And I'm really grateful that you guys hopped on. Thank you, panelists. And for those of you that are watching tonight, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to be a part of this event. You could be anywhere and you chose to be here. And we're really grateful for that. I would encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you to tonight's call. Reach out to them if you have any questions or just curious about anything the panelists shared. They shared some really powerful stories. And one of the things that I think I heard was that kind of in all of y'all is that being on this healthy living journey, it is so important to be a part of a community. You were connected to somebody, you saw somebody who talked to you and cared about you. And so for those of you that are watching, we have Facebook groups that have recipes, tips. We have resources to help get you connected and to walk alongside you, especially for those of us that are trying to live our healthiest lives. Doing it alone is it's hard. Thanks again, y'all, for being here. I hope you'll have a really great night. I am going to stop the recording right now. And so if you want to stay after and have questions, have comments, feel free to stick around. And if you don't, thank you so much for being here.